everyone. A pleasant day to all of you. This is Melissa Lanzaro, and I'm currently studying at Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Muntinlupa. I am taking up the Bachelor of Science in Criminology. So I am excited to tell you and discuss what will be these acts, which are the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006, which is the RA 9344, and Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Act, or the GDPA of the United States of America. So I have a keen interest on what will be the juvenile justice system and the welfare act of these two countries, what will be the similarities and differences of each acts for each respective countries. So let's start.
So the title is The RA 9344 of the Philippines versus the Juvenile Delinquency and Prevention Act of the United States of America. To start with, let us differentiate what would be the definition of these two. So the Republic Act 9344, this is also known as the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006. It establishes a comprehensive system for addressing the issues related to children at risk and the children in conflict with the law in the Philippines. So the law, it aims to protect the rights of these children, ensuring that they are treated well with dignity and respect, while also promoting their rehabilitation rather than punishment, which are those child under the 18 years old age, which are the child at risk and the child in conflict with the law. So this, what it represents, the RA 9344, is a shift towards a more humane and supportive approach to our juvenile justice system in the Philippines. Okay, next, let us give a definition to the Juvenile Justice System and Delinquency Prevention Act of the United States of America, or the JJDA. So, originally, it is enacted in 1974. This is a key piece of federal legislation in the United States, and what it is aimed at addressing the juvenile delinquency and establishing standards for the treatment of youth within the juvenile justice system. The act was also designed to promote a comprehensive approach to the juvenile justice and also emphasizing rehabilitation over punishment and to provide states with federal funding to as well promote and improve their juvenile justice system. So, what JJDA wants to represent is a significant federal commitment to their juvenile justice reform, which focuses on the prevention, the reform, the rehabilitation, and the humane treatment to young offenders. All right, let's find out what would be the similarities between the two. So there are a lot of similarities when it comes to what are the things we need to know about these two acts. So first one would be the focus on rehabilitation. What I can say that are similarities between the two, they both have emphasizes the rehabilitation over punishment for the juvenile offender. They also have organized or recognized that juveniles are still depending on developing and should be given opportunities for reform rather than facing severe penalties that could hinder their future. So that will be the first one, focus on rehabilitation. The second one will be the recognition of children's rights. What does the similarities between the two? So these both acts have acknowledged the rights of the children in conflict with the law. So what it says on the RA 9344, what it explicits says that the state, the rights of the children, including the protection from the children or the cruel treatment of the children, and the right to due process. So which means it focuses on the due process. Now, when it comes to GDPA, what it also similar to what RA 9344 had, it also has incorporate the principles that protect the rights of juveniles throughout the justice system process. So these two focuses on the due process and the protection of the children. So there are a lot of similarities when it comes to what are the things we need to know about these two acts. So first one would be the focus on rehabilitation. What I can say that are similarities between the two, they both have emphasizes the rehabilitation over punishment for the juvenile offender. They also have organized or recognize that juveniles are still depending on developing and should be given opportunities for reform rather than facing severe penalties that could hinder their future. So that will be the first one, focus on rehabilitation. The second one will be the recognition of children's rights. What does the similarities between the two? So these both acts have acknowledged the rights of the children in conflict with the law. So what it says on the RA 9344, what it explicits it says that the state, the rights of the children, including the protection from the children or the cruel treatment of the children, and the right to due process. So which means, all right. So let us see what are the differences between the two acts. To give you an overview and a definition of each of the differences of both acts. So first one would be the age of criminal responsibility. Second one will be the structure of the juvenile justice system. Third one is the cultural considerations. Fourth one is the implementation of funding. All right, to start with the differences of these two acts, let's start with number one, the age of criminal liability. When it comes to the RA 9344, it says the minimum age of the criminal responsibility would be at 18 years of age, meaning that children below this age are exemption from the criminal liability but may still undergo intervention programs and versus what GDPA says that it does not have any specify or it does not specify any minimum age for criminal responsibility, though as this is determined by individual states, leading to significant variations across the United States. So what it simply tells us that the RA 9344 has a minimum age of criminal responsibility, which those who are under the age of 15 are not held liable but may participate still in the intervention program. And what GDPA says that it does not allow them to qualify any age at a minimum level. So the second one would be the structure of the juvenile justice system. What RA 9344 says that it establishes a comprehensive juvenile justice and welfare system under the Department of Justice, which it also includes a juvenile justice and welfare council to oversee the implementation. So for this one, it seems like the RA 9344 was a structured one. Compared to GDPA, what it provides is a federal funding and guidelines for the state to develop their juvenile justice system. But it does not qualify to create a federal juvenile justice system authority, which it shows that this is more federal or it has a federal guidelines to it. Number three would be cultural considerations. For RA 9344, it includes provisions that respect cultural and religious perspectives, especially for indigenous peoples and Muslims in the Philippines. It also ensures that the juvenile justice is culturally sensitive when it comes to religious information. So versus GDPA, what it says that they have lacked of such specific cultural considerations, also as well as operating under a more uniform framework across and all over the United States of America. So for these two, what I can say that RA 9344 provides, but as well as respect religious groups. Compared to the GDPA, it has a lack of specific information regarding a cultural considerations too. And the last one, or the fourth one, would be the implementation and funding. So for this one, the RA 9344, it establishes a comprehensive juvenile justice and welfare system under the Department of Justice, which also includes a juvenile justice and welfare council to oversee the implementation. This means that they provide but emphasizes the roles of NGOs and the command-based personnel. So for the other one, which is the GDPA, what it gives for the people, it also provides federal funding and guidelines for states to develop their juvenile justice systems, but take note that it does not have to create a federal justice authority. So for this one, it shows that the GDPA has these offenses or which offers federal funding that has an asset or requires federal standards. All right. So we end here at the end of our report. So this means that you had a better understanding and a wide knowledge regarding the comparison of both acts, which is the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act of 2006, which is the RA 9344, versus the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Act, or the GDPA of the United States of America. So just simply means that the RA 9344, what it represents is a shift toward a more humane and supportive approach to the juvenile justice system here in the Philippines. And as well as the JJDA, what it represents is a significant federal commitment to the juvenile justice reform, which focuses on the prevention, the reform, and the rehabilitation, as well as, of course, the humane treatment to young offenders. So, this is the end of my report. You stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.